Hello my friends. Welcome back to the channel. I want you to take a deep breath with me. Just pause for a second. Wherever you are, on the train, in your room, maybe after a long day of work. And let me ask you this. Have you ever felt that learning English is too heavy? Too far away from your real life? Many of my podcast listeners tell me, Tom, I don't have time. My job drains me. I try to study, but the grammar rules slip away, and the vocabulary doesn't stick. And when I hear that, I smile gently, because I know something they don't yet realize. You don't need hours of study to grow. You just need small, simple moments that you repeat every day. Imagine this. You're making coffee in the morning, half awake. Instead of scrolling through your phone in silence, you play a short podcast, and just let the English words drift into your ears. You don't need to understand everything. You just let the sound become part of your morning, like the aroma of coffee itself. That's the beginning of fluency. One of the most powerful techniques I share on my show is shadowing. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe not. It's simple. You listen, and you echo. No translating, no stopping, no dictionary. Just echo the rhythm, the tone, the breath of the speaker. It feels awkward at first, like dancing to music you don't fully know. But little by little, your body learns the steps. I once received a message from a listener in Brazil. She told me she started shadowing 5 minutes a day while washing dishes. After 2 months, she said, Tom, my colleagues noticed I sound more confident. I'm not afraid to join meetings anymore. That's the quiet magic of daily practice. And let's be honest, adults like us, we don't have endless time. We can't sit with textbooks for hours. But what we do have are pockets of time, waiting for the bus, cooking, walking to the gym, and those pockets can be filled with English, if we choose to. That's how language becomes not a subject, but a companion. Science even supports this. Studies show that short, repeated exposure builds stronger memory than one long session. Your brain loves rhythm, loves patterns, and shadowing uses that natural rhythm to wire English into your speaking muscles. It's less about talent, more about habit. So I want you to think. What small space in your day could belong to English? Maybe it's your commute. Maybe it's the quiet before bed. Maybe it's 5 minutes while waiting for your coffee to brew. Let English step into those little spaces. And watch how it slowly shapes the way you think, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself in conversations. And that's why we're here today, not to add more pressure, but to create more presence. English is not a mountain you have to climb in one day. It's a path you walk, step by step, until one day you look back and realize you're already living it. Let's talk about the first practice, listening every day. It sounds so simple, almost too simple, doesn't it? But simplicity is often what we forget. I once told my podcast audience, if you want to speak better, you must listen more. And one listener wrote back, Tom, I thought listening was passive. How can it help? The truth is, listening is the seed of speaking. You cannot grow a tree without water, and you cannot grow your English without sound. Think about music. When you listen to the same song again and again, soon you find yourself humming the tune, even singing the words without effort. English works the same way. You don't need to understand every single word. You just need to let it soak into your ears like background music of your life. Imagine folding laundry while a podcast plays. Imagine walking to the train and hearing a story in English. Over time, your brain begins to sing along. Now, once the sounds enter your world, the next step is to give them a voice, your voice. That's where shadowing comes in. Some people feel shy repeating out loud, afraid of sounding silly. But let me tell you something. Every fluent speaker you admire was once a beginner who sounded strange, even to themselves. I often encourage my listeners, don't aim for perfection. Aim for practice. Perfection is a statue. Practice is a living thing. I remember a young man from Mexico who told me he practiced shadowing while driving. He would repeat phrases like, I want to speak English fluently, or I keep going. Day after day, the car became his classroom. A few months later, he recorded a voice message for me, clear, confident, alive, and all it took was his willingness to echo, again and again, without fear. But there's another quiet practice I want you to try. thinking in English. At first, it feels almost impossible. Our native language always wants to come first. But imagine this. When you wake up, instead of saying in your own language, "I'm tired," you whisper, "I'm tired," in English. When you look outside, you say in your mind, "The sky is blue." One thought at a time. One step at a time. Slowly, English becomes the voice inside your head. Not a translation, but a presence. And maybe you've noticed this too, when you speak in English. It's not always about grammar or perfect words. It's about rhythm. It's about how your voice carries emotion. Think about the last time you listened to someone tell a story. Did you remember every word they said, or did you remember the way they made you feel? One of my podcast guests once shared something unforgettable. He said, "Language is just a bridge, not the destination. If you walk across it, you don't stare at the planks. You focus on where it's taking you." And that stayed with me. Because speaking English is not about proving yourself flawless, it's about reaching someone on the other side. I want you to imagine this. You're in a coffee shop in New York. You order your drink. Maybe you stumble a little. Maybe your accent shows. But the barista smiles, understands you, and you walk away with your coffee. That's communication. That's victory. Not flawless grammar, connection. And maybe that's what fluency really means. Not speaking without mistakes, but speaking without fear. Not trying to sound like someone else, but daring to sound like yourself. So how do we practice this kind of fluency? The fluency that's rooted in courage. Not perfection? One of the simplest tools I share with my podcast listeners is what I call the rhythm mirror. Every morning, stand in front of a mirror. Pick a short phrase in English and say it out loud 3 times, first slowly, then naturally, then with feeling. This small practice trains your tongue, your breath, and your confidence at the same time. It's not about sounding like a native speaker, it's about sounding alive, sounding real. And if you do this every day, even for 2 minutes, you'll notice your English becoming part of your body, not just your mind. Another guest on my show once told me she used to read recipes in English while cooking dinner. She said, "It wasn't about the vocabulary, it was about the habit. I gave myself permission to let English walk into my kitchen." That's powerful, isn't it? Because the truth is, fluency is built in the smallest corners of your day, not just in classrooms, not only in exams, but in the messy, real-life spaces where you laugh, cook, commute, or even daydream. So let me ask you, where can English quietly enter your life today? Maybe in the songs you hum on your way to work. Maybe in the little notes you leave on your fridge. Maybe in the way you whisper your thoughts before bed. At the end of the day, learning English, or any language, is not about chasing perfection. It's about choosing presence. It's about daring to open your mouth, even when your voice shakes. Because every word you speak is proof that you're moving, that you're alive, that you're growing. I often remind my podcast listeners, fluency is not a destination, it's a way of living. Every stumble, every pause, every smile in the middle of a sentence, that's your story being told in a new voice. And that's beautiful. So wherever you are, whether you're just beginning, or you've been walking this path for years, I want you to remember this. You don't have to wait until you're perfect to start. You start, and that's how perfection slowly begins to find you. Imagine this. 1 year from now, you'll look back and smile, not because your English is flawless, but because you had the courage to keep speaking, keep trying, keep showing up, and that courage, that persistence, that is what truly makes you fluent. So take a breath, say the word, begin again tomorrow, and let English become not just something you learn, but something you live. Thank you for being here with me today. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who might need the reminder too. And remember, you're right on time. Always.